The Galactic Military Academy's combat arena fell silent as Angelina walked onto the training mat. Her boots made soft thuds against the reinforced floor, each step measured and confident despite the whispers that rippled through the observation deck above. A human? Someone hissed in Zentari, the universal language of the Academy. In advanced combat training? Another voice added, dripping with disbelief. Angelina had heard it all before. For 3 months she'd endured the sideways glances, the condescending advice, the barely concealed laughter whenever she entered a room. Humans were new to the Galactic Coalition, their planet having achieved faster-than-light travel only 20 years prior. To the older species, the Kralliks with their armored hides, the Vortani with their forearms, the towering Zephrons, humans were fragile, weak, and hopelessly outmatched. Across the mat stood Casper, the Academy's reigning combat champion. The Kralliks warrior stood nearly 8 feet tall, his reptilian scales gleaming under the arena lights like polished obsidian. His yellow eyes regarded Angelina with something between amusement and pity. In his 3 years at the Academy, Casper had never lost a match. His reputation was legendary, 67 consecutive victories against the galaxy's finest warriors. "Little human," Casper rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. "You may withdraw. There is no shame in recognizing your limitations." The observation deck erupted in agreement. Angelina could see her fellow cadets nodding, some actually looking concerned for her safety. Even Instructor Velkoth, the grizzled Vortani who ran the combat program, seemed hesitant. "Cadet Angelina," Velkoth called down, "Casper outweighs you by 300 pounds and has natural armor plating. Are you certain you wish to proceed?" Angelina rolled her shoulders, feeling the familiar looseness of her human joints. Joints that could rotate in ways that made other species uncomfortable to watch. She'd grown up on Earth's combat circuit, training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu since she was 6, adding Muay Thai at 10, and wrestling at 12. What the aliens didn't understand about humans wasn't their strength, it was their spite. "I'm certain, sir," Angelina replied calmly. Casper sighed, a gesture he'd learned from observing humans. "Very well. I will be gentle." The starting klaxon sounded. Casper moved first, closing the distance with surprising speed for his size. His massive arm swept out in a strike that would have sent most cadets flying across the arena, but Angelina wasn't there. She'd slipped inside his reach, her smaller frame an advantage as she moved through the space beneath his extended arm. What happened next occurred in less than 4 seconds, but those watching would replay it in their minds for years to come. Angelina's hands found Casper's extended wrist, her grip precise. She pivoted using his forward momentum against him, a basic principle of human martial arts that the galaxy had never encountered. Casper's eyes widened as his balance shifted unexpectedly. Before he could compensate, Angelina's leg hooked behind his and she used her entire body as a lever. The champion's armor plating meant nothing when gravity and leverage combined. Casper crashed to the mat with a thunderous impact that shook the arena. But Angelina wasn't finished. As he fell, she maintained control of his arm, spinning with him, her legs wrapping around his massive limb in a configuration that looked impossible. "Armbar!" Someone in the observation deck shouted, one of the few other humans at the Academy. Casper thrashed, his strength enormous. A direct power struggle would have lasted seconds with him victorious. But Angelina had positioned her hips over his elbow joint, her entire body weight, insignificant as it was compared to his, focused on a single point of mechanical vulnerability. His armor couldn't protect the joint itself. His strength couldn't be applied effectively from the position she'd trapped him in. The Kralliks warrior had 2 choices: tap out or suffer a dislocated elbow. His hand slapped the mat 3 times. The arena exploded into chaos. The observation deck erupted with shouts in a dozen languages. Instructor Velkoth stood frozen, all 4 of his arms hanging slack in disbelief. Other cadets pressed against the viewing glass, trying to understand what they'd just witnessed. Angelina released Casper immediately and stood, offering her hand to help him up. The gesture was pure human instinct, respect for a defeated opponent. Casper stared at her hand for a long moment before accepting it, though he barely needed the assistance to rise. "How?" he asked simply, his pride wounded but his curiosity genuine. "Leverage," Angelina explained, her breathing barely elevated. My instructor on Earth used to say that technique is the art of making size irrelevant. We humans don't have armor or natural weapons. We had to get creative. Velkoth descended from the observation platform, his expression unreadable. The arena had gone quiet again, everyone waiting for his assessment. In 40 years of teaching combat, the instructor said slowly, I have never seen such efficient use of an opponent's momentum. He turned to address the gathered cadets. What you witnessed is why humanity qualified for coalition membership, despite their apparent physical disadvantages. They are problem solvers. Where we rely on strength and natural advantages, they develop techniques. Over the following weeks, everything changed for Angelina. The laughter stopped. The whispers became requests for training. Even Casper became a regular sparring partner, eager to understand the principles of human martial arts. The Kralix warrior proved an apt student, his analytical mind grasping concepts that translated his natural advantages through the lens of leverage and technique. But more than that, the Academy began to understand what human instructors had known for centuries, that physical power mattered far less than the will to overcome, the creativity to innovate, and the stubbornness to never accept limitations as permanent. On graduation day, as Angelina stood among the top combat students in her class, she thought about that moment in the arena. She hadn't just dropped a champion, she'd shattered assumptions that had existed for millennia. And in the vast expanse of the galaxy, where humanity was still proving itself worthy of standing among the stars, that mattered more than any single victory.